Voting with our wallets, I believe, is one of the smartest things that we can do as a group, as the working class, in order to somehow convince billion-dollar companies to stop releasing mediocre products, stop releasing mediocre services, and trying to farm us for every cent that we have. The inspiration behind this is quite funny. So the newest Pokemon game just dropped as of October 16th, 2025, and a lot of people are upset, but millions of people bought it anyways. So why does this matter for you and me, and why does this matter for our wallets? So quick summary, Pokemon Legends Z8 is the most recent Pokemon entry into the Pokemon franchise. According to Metacritic, the meta score is 78, and this is based off of critic scores. However, user scores, which are based off of normal people like you and me, just general consumers of said product, we have a rating of generally unfavorable of 4.7. This is a red score, so this is pretty bad. The overall sentiment of this game can be seen in some of the latest reviews. This guy says, "What the fuck is this? Chinese mobile games have better graphics, art direction, music, and gameplay. Overpriced piece of shit. I hope Pokemon fans wake up and start demanding a better game. This crap game has no voice acting, graphics are horrendous, the city is dead, NPCs are lifeless, and suddenly journalists showed up to give it 80 out of 85 ratings. How strange." People aren't happy. This game, we had a lot higher expectations for this. The last game that I played was Sword and Shield, and it was okay, but I can understand where people are coming from because every entry since Sword and Shield has been about the same. Hardly any effort put into it, just basic things, and you would expect a company that's valued at almost $113 billion can put increasingly more effort into games and convince people to buy it, and yet they continue to release subpar games. At this point, it seems almost intentional that they're not putting any effort into voice acting, music, graphics, gameplay, any of these things, and yet people are still sucking at the teat of Nintendo, and it's crazy because combined with these scores and the fact that over 5.8 million copies sold within the first week, Nintendo has zero reason to think otherwise, that people just love the game. And I think this is where voting with our wallet comes in. I hate using the word boycott because at this point it's just such a buzzword, but boycotting companies that purposefully sell us subpar quality items, I think it's one of the main ways that we as a working class can convince these companies to stop farming us for money. I don't know about you, I'm tired of getting farmed for content. I'm tired of getting farmed for money. Everything is expensive. I thought egg prices were gonna go down. Nope. Still like $10 a dozen or whatever the fuck Target is selling them for. Nothing is going down. Everything is going up. The price of everything is increasing and my wallet is crying. So what have I been doing? For those who don't know, Penguin Zero, aka Charles White, put out a video. Yes, I'm on first name basis with him. Put out a video saying basically why he wasn't going to buy the new Pokemon game that I just talked about, the new Call of Duty game that just came out, because it's just the same thing over and over. There's no new iterations. There's no expansions of gameplay. There's nothing that could possibly convince us to buy a game that is, increasing. Nintendo increases the price of their games constantly. I could probably go to Target, go look for Super Mario Odyssey, which came out like eons ago when the first Nintendo Switch dropped. It's probably still $60. And everything since then, $60, $70, $80 games that Nintendo just wants to keep us with, and yet not putting a proportional amount of more effort in terms of the proportion of what the price has increased. I'm not going to buy another Nintendo game. Same thing with Plants vs. Zombies. They just released a remastered version of their original game. It's called Plants vs. Zombies Replanted. Very basic. The Steam charts overwhelmingly negative. I mean, technically mixed reviews, but everything recently has been negative. They based off of their stuff off of the mobile version instead of the PC version, which already existed. There's plenty of bugs. There's charging $20 for a game that is basically just an HD version of what it used to be. It's a cash grab, and EA, of course, is known for this. I don't mean for all of these to be video game related. It just so happens that the news that I'm caught up with, EA is releasing cash grabs in terms of Plants vs. Zombies Replanted. No local multiplayer, no new things, no quality of life features, no current Steam support with remote together, no modding. There's tons of half-baked features, bugs. A lot of the most recent reviews are pretty bad. And again, $20 for an old game just for it to be HD, just to keep sucking the life out of your wallet? No thanks. Nintendo does the same, EA does the same, Ubisoft does the same. This isn't supposed to be video game focused, but again, this is mostly what I've been focusing on, and it's just examples of why we need to stop supporting companies, billion-dollar companies, billions with a B, with releasing things that they put zero effort effort into just to take more money out of us. And, you know, remastering things is a completely different story, but this game already existed. They're just re-releasing it with HD and other features for $20. For $5, sure. Spotify, same topic, voting with our wallets, but just a different angle. So for my politically inclined friends, if you're not politically inclined, then that's a privilege in and of itself, but that's a different conversation. Spotify is authorizing ICE recruitment ads. And as a Hispanic who I'm pretty white passing with my giant ass forehead, I'm pretty white passing. I may or may not ever get racially profiled by ICE, but I don't go out enough to experience that. So I don't know. Spotify, a company that I used to use for 10 years straight, since 2015 up until like 2023, I switched over to Apple Music a few years ago. $1 billion company with such a large platform, so many users using their platform from all different kinds of backgrounds, basically selling ICE recruitment ads on their platform. That's another go f yourself. Like, are we serious? That's just like, I'm glad I don't support Spotify at this moment. And I think if people who believe that ICE is a bad thing and, you know, shouldn't be enforced in the way that it's being forced currently, this is not a political video. I'm just saying, if you don't agree with ICE, then voting with your wallets is one of the things that you can do in order to get the point across to Spotify that this is a no-no, we don't like this. And you do the same with Nintendo. Stop buying their shitty ass Pokemon games, and they might be like, whoa, maybe we should start putting more effort into things. Don't buy $20 Plants vs. Zombies replanted. It's buggy as hell, cash grab, you know, f EA. Tell them, no, I'm not buying this. They might reconsider going forward. There's plenty of other examples of this. These are just the three that came to my mind just in most recent times. I think we should bully the company, but not bully the employees that work there. I'm talking like normal employees, because I've noticed that there's been a trend online where if you don't agree with this company, you go in and then waste the time or be combative with these everyday employees that have nothing to do with the overall corporate direction of these companies. Just take the brunt of it. That's not what I'm saying. I think voting with our wallets to convince companies to stop releasing shit products and bullying the overall corporate umbrella of these companies proves to work. You know, Concord as the most recent example, nobody bought the game, everybody shit on the game, they pulled the plug, and they're out almost $500 million based off of, you know, I don't know who it was, Sony, EA, who cares, they're all the same. Bully them into submission. Stop releasing shit products. Stop farming us for money. I can barely afford to buy eggs and groceries for the next month. I don't need to buy a $20 remastered game of Plants vs. Zombies. I don't need to buy an $80 version of the newest Pokemon game that has the same copy-paste Team Rocket knockoff version that they've been using for the past like 10 years. I don't need to buy anything from these companies that refuse to use these increasing prices to reflect increasing effort. This was a rant video. I had a script. I didn't even use it. Like, market signaling, which is when enough people stop buying money, the demand decreases for these products, then shareholders notice. The corporate umbrella notices. And I think this is our way as a working class to convince companies to stop being shitty. These companies need to stop being shitty. $1 billion companies not putting in any effort intentionally into their games, their products, their services, just to release at the same price as a fully fledged game or whatever, fully fledged product without fully fledged product quality. I'm like, at this point, I'm just sick and tired of it. I think we need to stop supporting these companies, stop voting with our money and buying these things that will just signal to these companies, hey, people like this, we should just keep doing this. And in order to make profit margins better, we should put less effort in the future, same price, and we'll be even better off. That's just what buying these products is going to tell these companies. I think we need to stop doing this. I didn't mean for this to come off as like a ranty video, but you know, I got heated halfway through it and I just stopped following my script. Overall message of my TED Talk today, if enough of us stop paying for mediocrity, companies will notice and we'll finally get the quality that we deserve as, you know, hardworking Americans, hardworking citizens, hardworking members of society that we earn our money for on the hour. We deserve better. And that's all I can say. I think you need to put your money where your mouth is. Stop supporting these companies. Stop supporting these mediocre companies, specifically these billion-dollar mediocre companies. And maybe we'll finally get the quality that we deserve. Maybe we'll finally start seeing change, and maybe we'll stop just being numbers on a spreadsheet. Maybe things might get better. Maybe not within the next 2-3 years. Eventually, I think voting with our wallets can help.